Open your book to the word list for lesson 1, 2. We're going to look at prefixes. Prefixes come before the base word, and they change what the base word means. So if you look at the very first one, it is dis. It means not or opposite of. So if you look right here, the base word is appear. Disappear means that it's the opposite. It will no longer appear. You can't see it. Discomfort, not comfortable, right? It's the opposite of it. Disconnect, if you have something plugged into the wall, I might say you need to disconnect it. It means have it not connect anymore. Discontinue, stop doing it. Discover means something used to be covered up. That's the base word. And now if I discover it, it's not covered anymore. Non means the same thing, not or opposite of. So when you look at the words, the base word is fiction. Fiction means fake stories. Nonfiction means it's not fake. Non-profit. Profit means I'm going to make money with it. Non-profit is the opposite. Nonsense. If something makes sense, the opposite of that is nonsense. It does not make sense. We had this word for lesson 1, toxic, really meaning that if you put things together, they don't go together. They might, if it's chemicals, they might blow up. If it's people, they might argue. But if it's non-toxic, it means it's okay. It won't make an explosion. It won't get in a fight, things like that. Verbal. That means exactly what I'm doing. Verbal is out loud. I can speak. But if someone is non-verbal, they cannot speak. And then on the bottom, in, im, un, those ones mean not. So all of our prefixes mean not or the opposite of. This word, impossible. Something's possible, but if it's impossible, it's not possible. You see the base word appropriate. Inappropriate is not appropriate. Indirect means not direct. Unfair, not fair. Unusual, not usual. Now, all 3 of these sets of prefixes mean the exact same thing. In the English language, there are no rules about when we use which prefix. But the more you speak, the more you listen, the more you read, and the more you write, you will figure out which prefix goes with which word. So for example, possible, we don't say jumping high enough to touch the sun is non-possible. We say it's impossible. And you only pick up which one to use. You only figure that out by talking, speaking, reading, writing. There's no rules for that. So turn your page to the back. Remember, just like last time, if you hold it up, you can kind of see the lines where I put my red lines. You can see those through and just draw those and then write your prefixes here. And then I want you, hide mine for a minute. I want you to think of words. You can push pause. Think of words that you could write down, and then we'll look at my words. But when you are reading and you find any word that has any of the prefixes that we're using, then go back and add them. So if you need time to think, push pause. Here's some words for distrust, I don't trust. Dislike, I don't like. Disown, I no longer own it. Disobey, I did not obey. Or dishonest, not honest. With non, I only put one on there because non you could use with almost any word like this: athletic, artistic, mathematical, anything creative, anything that you would say this is something you could do. Well, if I don't play any sports, I might say I'm non-athletic. I draw stick figures all of the time. That's the extent of my artistic abilities. So I would call myself non-artistic. And then here's a few. This one can get confusing. In and im, they sound so similar. So you have to make sure you are saying them correctly, but doing a lot of reading. That will help you figure out when to use in and when to use im. The couple words I thought of were unlock, which means not lock it. I want you to do the opposite. Imperfect, it's not perfect. Impatient, I put a little space there, but there's not supposed to be one, so squish your word together. Not patient. And insincere, sincere means I'm very genuine. If I tell you I've done something wrong, I say, I'm so sorry. That's sincere. Insincere is when you say something like, I'm sorry, and it doesn't sound like it at all. It sounds insincere. Okay, so think of other words and write them down, and as you find them in your writing or your reading, the books you're reading, write them down as well.